You got all my favorite friends. So you got Kenny Leon.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson.
Right.
Steve Harvey. I hear y'all take vacations together on the yacht or something.
Veteran actor Samuel L. Jackson has allegedly leaked some vital information that has got the internet buzzing with excitement. The celebrated actor appears to have confirmed issues that have long been suspected of Steve Harvey, which can be damning for the talk show host if they are true. What did Samuel L. Jackson leak to the public? And how is that affecting Steve Harvey's public profile? Celebrated actor Samuel L. Jackson usually plays a no-nonsense character who isn't afraid to speak the truth even if it costs him his life. Apparently, he has allowed that character to cross over into his real life, with many fans associating him with truth-telling. So, when he allegedly exposed certain skeletons wrapped and hidden away in Steve Harvey's wardrobe, the fans swallowed it hook, line, and sinker. What even makes Jackson's revelations more believable is that he appears to be close pals with Steve Harvey. In 2016, Jackson, Harvey, and Magic Johnson were pictured with their wives on a yacht in Portofino.
One year, we got a boat, LaTanya and I got a boat, Cookie and Irvin had their boat, Steve had their boat, and there was this dope-ass picture that we took of all three yachts with a drone.
The couples had gone on vacation to the small commune located in the metropolitan city of Genoa in Italy. Though Jackson claimed it was a coincidence that the three celebrities met with their families, insiders told news reporters that they had a great time together. So, given the brotherly camaraderie that the three friends shared, many fans believe that Jackson's disclosures are the gospel truth. According to Deep Throat Stories, Samuel L. Jackson has leaked a long list of men suspected have had affairs with Steve Harvey. As shocking as this may sound, Steve himself has inadvertently dropped hints of his affairs with men, which we'll come to much later in this video. Steve Harvey has long been suspected of being gay, but the talk show's public utterances have proved otherwise. For example, during his appearance on The View, Steve Harvey insinuated that gay men weren't real men and that real men dated women. He said, "There isn't a real man living that can live without one of you. He does not exist. We have to have you." However, the other guests on the show corrected him, indicating that gay men were real men who only had different attractions. However, Steve wouldn't budge and tried to explain himself out of the situation. Unfortunately, he didn't offer any apologies or show any remorse to the host, audience, and guests who were with him on the show. Another instance in which Steve reportedly denigrated the gay community was when RuPaul and his family showed up on his eponymous show, Family Feud. During the show, Carlson Kressley commented on Steve's suit, describing it as a toasted plum, to which he responded by saying that he was going to burn his suit. Many gay fans who watched the episode expressed their disgust about Steve's remarks and dragged him online. The American drag queen Brita Filter wrote, "I watched Family Feud with RuPaul's fam, and Steve Harvey seems problematic. The way that he is referring to us and saying how he's going to burn his suit when Carlson Kressley said the color was toasted plum. Jokes are funny. That isn't." Many members of the drag community agreed with Brita Filter, with one commenter noting, "I agree with Brita's take. It was uncomfortable to watch. Steve was also like this with the Queer Eye cast when they did the show." Another commenter also pointed to an incident where the talk show host fell on the wrong side of the LGBTQ+ community. "I knew it would be cringe to watch because Steve Harvey has proven he's homophobic and misogynistic before. Did anyone see the Queer Eye episode? That was another example of him being uncomfortable with queer guests. I'm just glad that the Drag Race fam had fun on the show because Steve had me rolling me eyes the entire time." Fans tore into Steve Harvey, calling him all sorts of names, including bigot and homophobic, for his quips and comments throughout the episode. They noted that Steve had always used his platform to pass remarks that cast gays in a bad light. Perhaps the most famous of such moments was when Steve passed a distasteful comment about Asian men. In 2002, Steve Harvey was reviewing the titles of some books that he thought were hilarious when he came up to a book titled How to Date White Women, a practical guide for Asian men. Steve laughed for about 15 seconds while the audience watched on, probably wondering why he was in fits. Then, when he had gathered himself, the talk show asked his audience, "Excuse me, do you like Asian men?" To which he answered, "No, I don't." Then he went on to joke about how a book about dating black women would only be one page with the words, "You like Asian men? No, I don't even like Chinese food. It don't stay with you no time. I don't eat what I cannot pronounce." Once again, Steve was on the receiving end of a serious backlash from the Asian community, with many blaming him for feeding into the stereotype of Asian men. Some blasted him for disrespecting and denigrating Asian men. Chief among them was the Asian American restaurateur Eddie Huang, who authored an op-ed in the New York Times. He wrote, "Every Asian American man knows what the dominant culture has to say about us. We count good, we bow well, we are technologically proficient, we're naturally subordinate, our male anatomy is the size of a thumb drive, and we could never in 1,000 millenniums be a threat to steal your girl." Harvey speaks openly about issues facing the Black community. He is a man of God, and he has a huge platform to speak from. For his own personal profit, he's willing to perpetuate the emasculation of Asian men regardless of how hypocritical it is. The flurry of insults and verbal attacks he received on social media forced the TV presenter to render an apology to the Asian community. He wrote on Twitter, "I offer my humblest apologies for offending anyone, particularly those in the Asian community last week. It was not my intention, and the humor was not meant with malice or any disrespect whatsoever." However, eagle-eyed fans noticed Steve's play on words during his show and realized that there was a deeper meaning to all that he said. According to them, Steve's one-minute monologue on Asian men betrayed him as gay because he was careful to make the distinction that he didn't like them. Many fans felt that Steve was inadvertently revealing the type of men he liked, and Asian men were not on the list. They construed his words, "I don't eat what I cannot pronounce," to mean that he doesn't like to get down with Asian men. Though they stopped short of calling him a racist, many of the fans thought he was, considering the comments that they passed on the matter. They lambasted him for his discriminatory comments about the choice of his partners. However, there were other fans who thought that Harvey was straight, and his comments were being misconstrued. They argued that Harvey didn't have to hide in the closet because he'd been married 3 times, and each time he divorced, he had the opportunity to end up with a man of his choice, but he still chose a woman. They even pointed out that whenever Harvey was accused of cheating, it was with a woman, so there was no way he was gay. Curiously, there's one case that seems to put all the Steve is straight arguments to bed. Essie Berry, the civil rights activist who accused Harvey of mistreating her, once accused the talk show host of harassing a transgender woman. The woman known as Quolandra Harris hasn't come out yet to say her side of the story, but everyone is already buying Essie Berry's narration. Though Essie accused Harvey of other crimes such as gang stalking, discrimination, and fraud, it is his alleged entanglement with a transgender woman that stuck. To be fair to Harvey, he was accused of mistreating other women of color as well, not just transgender, but that is beside the point. Many fans noted that since he allegedly frolicked with a transgender, it supports their view that the comedian could be gay, or at least bi. Essie herself allegedly accused Harvey of having a secret room in his house that had a digital lock that only he could unlock. So many people have wondered what goes on behind closed doors, with some suspecting that that's where the 67-year-old went down with other men. Steve's association with P. Diddy seems to be doing nothing to help his public image, as Diddy himself has also faced countless allegations of being gay or bi. Though Diddy has vehemently denied those rumors, they continue to be linked with him, giving the impression that the rumors had an iota of truth. Interestingly, source news sources once linked the two men when pictures of them started floating on the internet. In 2019, tabloids were awash with the news that Lori Harvey and P. Diddy were spotted having a good time in Italy with Steve Harvey. Soon, the gossip mill made up stories that P. Diddy was dating Lori, and it spread like wildfire. However, a few fans and conspiracy theorists wouldn't buy the Diddy dating Lori story, and instead surmised that it was all a facade. According to them, the real couple on vacation was Diddy and Harvey, and they just brought Lori along as a cover. They explained that that was the reason why neither Lori nor Diddy confirmed or denied the dating rumors. They preferred it to be just rumors so that Diddy could continue to see her dad. Prior to their trip to Italy, Lori and Diddy were seen on the streets of New York on a few date nights, sparking the dating rumors. But some fans shut it down, claiming that they were just putting on a show to hide what was going on between Steve and Diddy. To add a layer of deception to their drama, Lori spotted a big diamond ring on her figure, indicating that she was engaged to Diddy. When her fans inquired from her, Lori stated emphatically she wasn't engaged to anyone, and that the ring was just a fashion accessory, adding fuel to the rumors. The main reason why critics weren't buying the Diddy-Lori relationship was that Lori dated Diddy's son, Justin Combs, a year prior. The two were spotted together at a Super Bowl party organized by Diddy. Though rumors were rife that Lori dated both father and son, that was actually not the case. Lori shut down those rumors in an interview with E! News, where she claimed that people have made up so many stories about her that are not true. She explained, "I've heard I dated a father and son before. Absolutely not true," she said. "I've even heard that I'm at one point. So, there's been a lot of different things, a lot of stories, a lot of misconceptions. I've heard I dated a father and son before. Absolutely not true, she said. I've even heard that I'm a lesbian at one point. So, there's been a lot of different things, a lot of stories, a lot of misconceptions. Lori Harvey surmised that her continued silence has led to several stories being made up about her that sometimes shocked her. She recounted that several times she's been romantically linked to some men that she's never met before in life. It's so funny because I'm so quiet. There's been so many stories that have been made up about me. I've seen stories about me being fully in love with somebody and we have this whole relationship and I'll see the guy and I'm like, I've actually never even met him before. So, with Lori's outright denial of having anything to do with Diddy, the conspiracy theorists felt vindicated that their suspicions of Diddy having an affair with Steve Harvey were true. Interestingly, Diddy and Steve go way back to the 1990s when the East Coast-West Coast rivalry was in its prime. Steve purportedly supported Diddy during the rivalry, but pretended to be a neutral person whenever the cameras were around. On one episode of The Steve Harvey Show, Diddy and Snoop appeared in Steve's class to talk about the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that had turned dangerously violent. During the show, Steve advised the rappers involved in the violence to see themselves as brothers in the same industry. However, according to Deep Throat sources, Steve just did that for the cameras and to appear as a peacemaker and a good man in front of the public. They alleged that deep down, Steve supported the bitter rivalry and was backing P. Diddy and the East Coasters. Thus, sources claim that Harvey would diss the West Coast rappers and turn around to smile at them. These allegations added to the growing speculations that Harvey was in bed with Diddy. Diddy himself has been under a string of allegations accusing him of being gay. These allegations were first brought to light by the former radio and talk show host Wendy Williams. Wendy once claimed that she was in possession of a picture portraying Diddy and another man, with the man pulling down Diddy's shorts. Later, claimed that Diddy had sent his girl band Total to teach her a lesson at the radio station. Wendy continued that the girls arrived at the radio station and things were about to get dirty, but for the intervention of her boyfriend at the time. I got off the air one day, them total bitches were downstairs, and everybody upstairs at the radio station was looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down. Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Deal once claimed that Diddy had Wendy Williams fired from Hot 97, the radio she was working at the time, because of the gay allegations. Speaking to The Art of Dialogue in 2022, Gene explained that Diddy had a lot of power in New York and could do whatever he wanted. The power Combs had with the radio stations in New York didn't breathe hard if Combs didn't want them to. Combs got one of the hottest DJs off Hot 97 because she wanted to put up a picture of him getting his pants pulled down. He continued, Combs told Hot 97, if they didn't get rid of her before he got back in New York, that they was not going to get any music from any of his friends, any of the record label's executives that was cool with him, everyone was going to boycott their station. He then recalled the moment that Wendy Williams was fired. We was out in LA for about 3 days. Before we landed back in New York, Wendy Williams was in the radio station in Philly. It was over for her. She was fired. However, that didn't stop the veteran radio host from continuing her allegations against the hip-hop mogul. Wendy believed she was onto something, and she trusted her sources for their info. Curiously, Wendy wasn't the only person to accuse Diddy of being gay. Singer Jaguar Wright also insinuated that Diddy was gay and claimed that her lawyer had seen him getting fellatio from another man. According to Jaguar Wright, the lawyer who used to work for Bad Boys Entertainment narrated that one time she went up to Diddy's office to get some papers signed. On reaching the office, she noticed that the door wasn't locked, and she walked in only to find another man kneeling in front of Diddy in a compromising position. Immediately, the lawyer ran out of the office without saying a word. Diddy didn't breathe a word about the whole incident till the following day when he confronted the lawyer. He asked her about what she had seen in the office the previous day, and she also asked why he didn't lock the office door. Diddy then responded that it was his building and that he could choose to do whatever he pleases. He then told the lawyer that whatever she saw in the office was him displaying his power, and that money gave him the power to do as he pleased. Wright then ended by warning him to stop hounding her lawyer the same way he hounded Wendy Williams out of New York. You know, she was gonna be head of legal at Bad Boy Entertainment and be a female, like that was a big deal. Until she accidentally walked in on her boss's office and caught him getting head from a movie star, which he said was done for nothing more than an exercise of power. You better not try to do nothing to her either, Wright continued. She ain't had nothing to do with you being no sodomite. Forcing men men to do degrading acts just so you could prove how effing powerful you are. Another prominent artist who insinuated that Diddy was gay was rapper 50 Cent. On his tour in Europe, the rapper, out of the blue, took a dig at Diddy, claiming that he didn't like attending Diddy's annual all-white parties. The reason was that the Diddy once hugged him from the front and the back, which made him quite uncomfortable. He told his teaming fans that he didn't mind where Diddy swung, but he just was comfortable with the hugs. "That's why I don't be going to them puffy parties," the rapper quipped on stage. The man hug you from the front and the back at the same time? What you talking about? Look, if you into that, you into that. I'm fine with it. To each his own. I'm just saying this ain't my kind of party. It's uncomfortable. I think I belong in the girls' bathroom when things like that is going on. Of course, there's little evidence to buttress what 50 Cent was saying. Plus, he himself showed no proof whatsoever of his allegations. But looking at the number of people constantly accusing Diddy of SA, it is difficult to ignore the allegations. The hip-hop star Exhibit also once implied that Diddy was gay when he invited him and Kareen Steffans to a gay club. Narrating what went down the night, Exhibit explained that Diddy invited him and Kareen to go clubbing. On arriving at the place, Diddy went into one room, and they didn't see him for the rest of the night. He and Kareen then made their way to the main floor to grab some drinks. While they were sipping the drinks, Kareen pointed to one corner where he saw two guys kissing passionately. Then Kareen pointed to another corner where he saw another guy dancing with no clothes on. According to Exhibit, these scenes shocked him, and he moved out of the club, especially when Diddy didn't tell him they were going to a gay club. He clarified that he had nothing against the gay community, but Diddy should have been courteous enough to give them a heads up before taking them there. So given all these tales about Diddy's S, many fans and gossip blogs have concluded that he is at least bi, if not a full-blown gay. Thus, they have described many men who were cool with Diddy as his gay partners, including Steve Harvey. Interestingly, both Diddy and Steve Harvey haven't denied these rumors, though they have been widely circulated online. To add insult to injury, some fans pointed out that Steve Harvey never got angry or divorced his wife when news was rife that his wife cheated with her bodyguard. This fan wrote, "Well, that makes sense common. That's why he didn't get that upset about his woman being with the bodyguard. It all fits like puzzle pieces now." Last year, the grapevine went into overdrive when rumors flooded the internet that Steve's wife, Marjorie Harvey, was having an affair with his bodyguard. It's not clear who and which blog started the rumor, but it spread so fast that people began to believe it. Many even speculated that Steve was going to divorce his wife after her alleged indiscretions. Others claimed that Steve cheated with Marjorie when he was with his former wife. Therefore, karma was serving him a cold dish of revenge. As expected, Marjorie dispelled all the rumors indicating that she had been faithful to her husband through thick and thin. She took to Instagram to defend her marriage. She shared a link to a website with a headline that read, "How to Handle Being Lied About," followed by a Bible quote that said, "When they hurled their insults at him, he did not retaliate," it read. "When he suffered, he made no threats. Instead, he entrusted himself to him who judges justly." The wife of the celebrated talk show host then claimed that she wasn't in the habit of responding to all the fabrications spread about her and her marriage and the media. She, however, understood that her status as a celebrity comes with much responsibility, which she's doing all in her power to shoulder. "My husband and I don't usually stop to address all the foolishness and lies that have been spread about us. However, to whom much is given, much is required." She then continued, "I understand that with my platform comes some sort of responsibility to those that may not be as strong as we are." She encouraged her fans to share her message with those who were suffering similar allegations. "Read and share this with your loved ones that may not know how to properly cope. God bless all of you." Earlier in the day, Steve had to address the same rumors while speaking at a business event in Atlanta. Before giving his speech, he said, "Before I get started, just let me say I'm fine. Marjorie's fine. I don't know what y'all doing, but find something else to do cause we fine. Lord have mercy. Man, I ain't got no time for rumors and gossip. God's been good to me. I'm still shining." Some fans expressed excitement at the response as they didn't want to see their ideal Hollywood couple break apart. They thanked Marjorie for being a faithful wife and encouraged her to disregard all the gossip being spread around. However, there were those who thought Marjorie really cheated, but Steve and his wife were doing damage control. They surmised that Marjorie might have finally discovered Steve's secret life as a gay man and decided to call it quits. However, Steve might have sweet-talked or strong-armed her into not exposing him. They concluded that Steve's preference for men meant that he spent little time with Marjorie, and being a lady with certain needs, she ended up in the arms of their bodyguard. Of course, there is no evidence to back up such claims. Even though those who made them don't have the tiniest bit of evidence. But you can't blame them, because what evidence can one possibly have against someone who's allegedly spent decades hiding their identity? Maybe Samuel L. Jackson's supposed list can help bring finality to the suspicions of those fans. Probably his list might include some of the people mentioned in this video. For now, we keep our fingers crossed as we watch drama unfold before our very eyes. This brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.